There are many organizations on the Emerald Coast that are here to help people that really can't help themselves. And who are those people I'm talking about? I'm talking about children. Hello, my name is Valerie Bogar, and I'm your host here on Insight. And I'm so excited to be joined with two guests here. And they have a wonderful organization, and I hear a lot of great things about them and what they've done. And so I'm here with Mr. Ken Hare.
Hello.
Hi, how are you? And can you
good.
do me a big favor and just tell us a little bit about who you are and then the organization you're part of?
Yes, I'm Ken Hare, President and CEO of Children in Crisis, and we have a home for children that wouldn't have a place to go. I've been with the organization for a little over 10 years now, and it's just been absolutely wonderful. And I have wonderful people working with me like this lady here, and all of our founders.
All right, that's excellent. And could you introduce yourself? You're Miss Kitty Johnson, correct? And
Right,
you're also
I'm-
with Children in Crisis.
Right, I'm Kitty Johnson, and I'm the chairman of the board of directors of Children in Crisis. And I have been with the organization for about 12 years now, so from basically from the start.
Oh, excellent. So
Thank you for letting us be here today.
Absolutely.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm really excited to have you guys on here and to learn more
to be here.
information about you guys, because I'm sure I've heard a little bit about you, and then some of the viewers have, but then they don't really know, really how you guys got started. So I think first I want to talk about more about like the history.
Yes.
So Ms. Johnson, do you want to tell us a little bit about how you guys got started?
Surely. Our founder is Sherilyn Darnell.
Okay.
And back in 2003, late 2002, 2003, she asked the Department of Children and Families, what can we as a community do? What is your need? And their response was, we need homes. We need homes for our children that are abused and abandoned, neglected out in our community. We need a place for them to sleep. So they said, just let me give you a typical example, that we had a family of 4 that was brought into our office that were taken out of their home situation. And we worked feverishly all day to place those children. And finally, by the end of the day, the work day, we had found a place for them. But one was in Defuniak Springs, one was here, one was there. They were all separated. So she said, you cannot imagine the screaming, the crying when they said, you're going to be all 4 of you going to be separated, especially to the oldest, which was about a 9 or 10-year-old girl. And there was a baby about 18 months old. And she just held this baby and said, please don't take my baby away. So we all bought in. We said, we can answer this need. And that's how it all began. We thought there's a need. We've been so very fortunate to keep those sibling groups together and not to separate brothers and sisters. So you will hear more about that as we get into construction, etc. But that was sort of the idea and how we started.
I think that's a brilliant way to start. I know a lot of people are like, oh, there needs to be more positive things going on and stuff like that. So I think to start off with, what does this community need? I think that's actually brilliant. A lot of people don't think, to do that. So, and that's a beautiful story. And then it is very important to keep, siblings together and stuff. So that's really interesting. So
Well, unfortunately, the kids were being shuffled around. There was not enough traditional foster homes.
Right.
There was no place for them to be placed immediately when they were taken out of an unsafe home or unsafe environment. And they all said, there's got to be a better way.
yeah.
And I came on in 2005, and the idea, the vision, the first board, including Nellie Bogard, do you know her? She was on our original board of directors, and they said we have to do something about this situation because the kids are just not being taken care of. So their vision and their dream of having a neighborhood of foster homes. And then I think Matt Gay came on board because he was trying to get an emergency shelter for the children that were needing immediate placement. Because especially the large sibling groups, as Kitty has said, because typically traditional foster homes, which are wonderful, we just don't have enough of them. So when there's a sibling group of 3 or 4 or 5.
We've even had a group of 6.
We have 6.
Yeah.
There's no immediate placement in foster homes. and our emergency shelter allows that. So we actually broke ground on the neighborhood as far as construction, the infrastructure, and all in 2006, and then started building the first 2 homes, emergency shelter, Susanna Wesley House, and Blessings House, which was a family foster home. In 2007, we opened that in 2008, and wow, it's just been great ever since.
And that's a good idea because it's true. I don't think too many people know that much details when it comes to foster care.
Yes.
And even if people are thinking about doing it, probably the most that they will accept is probably 1 or 2 children at a time. And it's very difficult, to get any more than that, because they will go in their house. So it's, it's a really good idea that you're capable of caring for your siblings. It's like 4 or 5.
A lot of that is the room they have in their home. Just having the square footage to, accommodate. And yet they're good foster homes, but if they just
it's hard to
targeted that need for large sibling groups, and it has been really rewarding. Through all of this, we had our ups and downs historically. Will we go on? Are we ever going to get that 501c3 through, et cetera? But we just said it's been a God thing, totally. So.
And that 501c3 came in May of 2003. And after that, it was like, okay, let's raise the funds to build the neighborhood.
Right.
And
our community, community has been so generous.
Amazing.
They've opened their hearts, they've opened their pocketbooks, they've opened themselves with time, and so it's amazing. It's been just wonderful.
And since you've been in for a while, have you ever had seen the kids that came back 10 years later or hear about them?
We do have some of those.
That's cool.
And I won't, not bragging. Okay, I'm bragging. But it's absolutely amazing because we set the standard that we showed them how it should be. We keep the brothers and sisters together, and they do come back and say thank you. And that is so sweet. Yes.
And they love the neighborhood. They love their homes. We've had stories of the young ones saying, "Come out and take my picture so I can show my teacher what a beautiful home I live in." Exactly. They come. They're sad, of course. I mean, they're being taken from their homes, and it takes about 3 or 4 days, and all of a sudden you're hearing laughter. You're seeing them scamper off the bus, saying, "Here's what I've made." One of the house parents, one of our homes, said, "All of the children in their house this semester right now, we're going to make the honor roll." So they've come from maybe not even being able to attend school to bringing their grades up to honor roll grades or even a grade up. So because of the wraparound services we have from the community, really and truly.
I'm glad you mentioned about the house parents. Exactly, I'm sure some people are kind of curious how that works. Like you have a neighborhood, of foster children and different houses and stuff like that. So exactly how do you watch over the children? How does that work?
Well, our neighborhood is located in Fort Walton Beach, but we actually take children from all 4 counties: Escambia, Santa Rosa, Okaloosa, and Walton. Okay. That's called Circuit 1. So wherever the need is, we're there for the Circuit 1, for the children.
Oh, okay.
So in our emergency shelter, we are in the process of modifying our staff to represent a married couple that live there. But we also have augment shift home house parents. In our foster homes, which we have 4 now, and I'll talk a little more about those, I hope, but we have a married couple that live there and take care of up to 10 or 12 kids. The emergency shelter, 16 kids capacity. Okay. So it depends on what the need is. If it's a emergency in the middle of the night, that emergency shelter is there for them. They come right in. We have people it's awake staff 24 hours, 7 days a week, and we keep the 7 groups together and address their immediate needs there. And they come to us, unfortunately. Our largest category is neglect. The children that have been neglected, and unfortunately sometimes single mom or dad or whomever, if they're addicted to some kind of substance abuse, then they will leave those children for long periods of time to look for that, unfortunately. And those kids, when they come to us, and a concerned neighbor or a friend will see what's going on and call the hotline. Okay. And once the hotline's called, then Department of Children and Families send out an investigator along with law enforcement, and they investigate. And if the situation is really bad, they will take those children out. And then the first place is naturally our emergency shelter. So they come in with needing a bath, they're hungry, they need clothing, and we take care of all of that immediately. Were they going to be with us for 2-3 days or for 2 or 3 years? So once they come there, we assess them, we take care of their medical issues, and of course feed them.
Yes.
And then if they need to have long term, then we will move them over to our long term family foster homes if there's no traditional foster home or a relative available for taking them. And they'll stay with us in the foster homes as long as they need it, as long as they need a home.
Ah, it sounds like
Yes.
a really organized how you guys have it, from the beginning, and I'm actually kind of curious, and I don't know if anybody else is, maybe one of our viewers or some of our viewers. I know it's different than like an orphanage, correct? But like, is some of the kids like up for adoption, or is that
Yes,
like?
it's actually different and very similar in other ways.
Okay.
But if our children don't have parents, and many of them, they come to us without parents, and some is from death or accidental death or natural causes. And if there's no relatives to take the children, they will stay with us until the court decides that they have no parental guidance, no parents, and then they're up for adoption. And we've had 13 children adopted from us
Really?
in the last 3 years.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, another beautiful story is some of the first sibling groups was a sibling group of 4. They had been abused, and they came to us and lived about 3 years with our very first foster parents.
Yeah.
And finally, the judge, terminated the parental rights for them, and they were put up for adoption, and the foster parents could not see them being separated through adoption, which is just like the foster home. You might want to adopt 1 or 2, but not all 4.
Yeah.
And they resigned their position and adopted those 4 children, and they're just thriving. So I think we will be able to hear from them come back in not too many years down the road that tell about their experience, and because they're
definitely.
doing so well.
That's
now.
a beautiful story.
With their beautiful children.
What you guys are doing are changing so many people's lives, so many children's lives, and actually that's going to affect the future. And then they actually, be able to have a good life, a good stable life. And then when they have children of their own, then they'll remember I remember how I was taken care of at the Children in Crisis and stuff. And then they'll, it just goes on and on and on. And so instead of that, that rotation of, negative influences, instead it'll be the reverse, it'll be positive. So
Right,
one
you're
generation
exactly
after the
right.
other. So actually we're going to go on break a little bit, and then we're going to learn a little bit more about what's going on now, and then also what your plan for the future is for Children in Crisis. So please stay tuned with us here on Insight.
Someone will be in need of wisdom, in need of comfort, in need of a friend, a brother, a sister, a meal. We should use the time we have to be heroes and make a greater impact by strengthening our ties to others. Be someone's hero. Give, advocate, volunteer, ignite a way.
Our commitment to the community is something that we believe in and act on every single day. It's a key part of our culture and who we are as a company.
Cox donates millions of dollars in cash and in-kind services to support local nonprofit and civic organizations each year. We recognize that a healthy community is a growing community. Here's a look at just a few of the organizations we support right here in Northwest Florida.
We're extremely proud of all these local partnerships.
Together, we are working to make the Gulf Coast thrive.
In only 30 minutes a week, you can make a big impact on a child in Okaloosa County. The Okaloosa School District is recruiting mentors at all academic levels throughout the county. Studies show that students who are mentored develop self-confidence, make better grades, and improve their relationships with adults and peers. To learn more about the mentoring program or to sign up, visit okaloosaschools.com and click on the Become a Mentor link. You can make an immediate impact on a child and the community by becoming a mentor today.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds. Stop the texts. Stop the wrecks. Visit us at stoptextsstopwrecks.org.
Hi, I'm your host, Valerie Bogar, and we're back here on Insight. And I'm joined with two special guests with Children in Crisis. I'm here with Mr. Ken Hare and Miss Kitty Johnson. And we left off talking a little bit more about the history, how
Yes.
Children in Crisis got started, and then we kind of left off a little bit about how you guys operate, and then how you bring in children and how they stay in, and sometimes children go on for adoption, which is a beautiful story. And then we talked briefly about the parents that you have, like couples that actually watch the children.
Right.
Yes. So let's start back where we left
Well,
off.
just recap, our first building, the emergency shelter,
Right.
which is the first stop for the children, was opened up in 2008. And along with the first family foster home, which has the married couple that lived there also in 2008. Then we built in 2009, we built an administrative building and a little clubhouse for children to do tutoring and group activities. And then in 2010, we opened up Susu's Cottage, which is another family foster home, and our Opportunity Teen Home for those children that age out of foster care and are homeless, so that are still in high school. So we give them a home until they get through high school, get on their feet, and can transition and to be successful adults. And then in 2012, we opened up our Yaya's House, which is also another family foster home with a married couple that live there. And we just opened up our Travis Tringus Memorial Home just last week, and that will also hold up to 12 children. And we have a married couple that are already living there, and they'll take care of those children. So any given day, we will have 40 to 50 kids.
Right.
Once we get all the kids into the Travis Tringus home, it'll be 50 kids. So anytime you visit us, there's going to be 50 kids living there. And we're
Playing
taking
on the
care of all
playground.
their needs in their playground. And about as children come and go, especially in emergency shelter, we'll give a home to about 100 children per year. And since we opened up those first two homes in 2008, we've given a home to 575 children
Whoa.
right here in
That's a
our
lot.
community.
Yeah.
And I would like to echo something Kitty said in the first segment,
Yes.
that we have the vision, we know what we want to do, but we could not do it without this wonderful community. And that's what the difference is. And Kitty, she can tell you this, but I was in the Air Force for almost 30 years, and I saw a lot of different communities.
Right.
And when I got to the Fort Walton Beach area, I was just absolutely amazed at how, first of all, how friendly people are and how welcoming, but to embrace what we're doing
Right.
and make it work. And this is the best community I've ever lived in. So this is home.
Aw, and I'm glad you mentioned about the community and how it helps out, because we do, for Insight, we bring a lot of organizations in here, and a lot of them are nonprofit. And the interesting thing is a lot of them help one another, and sometimes, so I think that's pretty cool. So, Ms. Johnson, can you tell me a little bit about, do you know some of like the donors or organizations that's actually helped children in crisis?
Well, I think we've had donors from all aspects of the community.
Yes.
Yeah.
I could start with just individual donors that have, of course, taken the naming opportunities to pay for the entire house.
Wow.
People that have donated money to have a naming opportunity for rooms. We could go through the church community. We have a big faith community that's really supportive. The military is out there cutting yards or putting up a basketball goal,
cool.
or the squadron, that one, are volunteering for a fundraising event. We have our civic clubs, the Kiwanis Club, the Rotary Clubs, et cetera, with that group. I don't want to miss anybody, but just about every civic group. So tell me if I
Retired
have
teachers.
retired teachers do a
Wow.
big campaign in the school system. So every facet of the community has been involved. And it's just amazing. And the beautiful thing is that we're able to operate, and all the funds that we raise stay right here. I mean, they come there.
Exactly.
We don't go through any larger organization, but we're able to operate debt-free, and that is a God's blessing.
It is.
That, but Ken's picture, probably the viewers may know, is in the paper a lot, but I tell everybody.
Because we need help.
I tell everybody, when you're raising 50 children, I wish his paper was in there twice a day to keep us.
You can play like a game, that game, the book with the Where's Waldo?
Yes.
Yeah, you could do that with Gio. It's like, where's Ken? And everybody looks, the goal in the
because we need it
right.
to do what we want to do. We want to do the
Exactly.
very best. We want the children to have the very best and not anything that's.
And we really do need it.
Right, and we do need it.
And I wouldn't be working that hard if we didn't need it.
Right, you're exactly right.
And I also loved how you mentioned too when you said if people do have the option of volunteering, and I definitely want you to
Yes.
bring that up. But when the kids get to play, there's like 40, 50. I bet a lot of them, especially with kids who are in foster care, they feel alone or feel like that's just me. But when they're in a community with all of them, so they go to having 2 or 3 siblings to like 40 siblings in a way, because they're playing
Yes.
together and then they're interacting and they're like, hey, there's somebody just like me who's in the same situation.
I'll answer that. Last week at the at the ribbon cutting to open the Travis Tringas house, I was there pretty late, waiting till everybody was out and gone, but I walked out the back door to get to my car, walking around, and there was, I told one of the house parents, I said, you've got 2 teams of football or whatever they were playing football games here. So many of them running back and forth, and then of course the smaller ones over there doing on the swings or whatever and playing, and it was so heartwarming, I tell you. Most afternoons they go for tutoring though, and have volunteer tutors that come in 4 days a week to help them with their homework and into the kids clubhouse. So
Wow.
all this is going on. So afternoon late,
you got a lot
4
of
o'clock
help.
is a wonderful time to be around the
Yes.
neighborhood. Really makes your heart feel good.
And the bus picks them up at the neighborhood in the morning and
That's
takes
good.
them to school and then drops them off in the afternoon. And boy, when they get off that bus, they're ready to play on the playground or
that's
play
right.
sports.
Do they all go basically the same school or some are different?
The same school, Longwood Elementary, then middle school is Pryor, and then high schoolers go to Choctaw.
That's a great thing, because then there's like they grow up together and they can go together and they won't feel so alone going to a new
It's
school.
home to them.
It's home.
And they hate to leave. We had one that was taken, a young man that was, they found his biological father, and he was, of course, a judge. Said he needed to be with his biological parent up north of here. And he said, but I hate to go because the coach needs me. He was a football player. I don't want to leave the team. The coach needs me. But he, of course, he did go. It was a happy thing. But I thought they're involved in their school with football and activities or cheerleading or whatever they choose to do while they're in school.
Oh, that's cool.
Well, certainly it was an exciting day for our development, our milestone of in development, with opening Travis Tringa's house last week. But right around the corner, we're going to start building a new home.
Oh, wow.
In January, and it's going to be made possible by the Pennington family.
Okay.
In honor of their son, Ty Pennington. And as I said, we hope to start that in January, and we will have another ribbon cutting about next year this time, and that'll increase our capability for another 12 children.
Okay.
So we're really excited about that. But again, we could not do this without the wonderful support Destin Charity Wine Auction Foundation, Do God Family Foundation, all of those wonderful support sponsors for our fundraisers, and just make it happen. It just makes it work.
Yeah, they don't. I know they're like their 2 biggest, charities that's here locally, but they have impacted so many organizations.
And I apologize that I didn't bring them in the list a little while ago. But one thing I think is interesting that I'd just like to say about our houses, our foster homes, is they live autonomously. They don't all have spaghetti on Monday night, and they live as families.
Right.
There's not one cafeteria.
Right, there's
each
not.
home.
They live at families, and this family, operates just like, and that's their next door neighbors over there, rather than it all being just one big group type home or setting. So
And that's good that you brought that up, because I think a lot of people, I know I did, when you hear about this, you have this image of like an orphanage, big giant room with a bunch of cots and stuff, and the kids, go and they think of Annie or something. But it's cool that you guys are just like, no, we need to make this like a family, so that they have this. So it's not like, they won't feel any different. They'll feel, and I think they'll feel more love that way, I think. And I love how that you guys reiterated that. That's what you do for the community. So we talked a little bit about what you did in the past and a little bit about now, and a little bit about the future. So is there like any other events that's coming up that you really want to know, or any needs that you have?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I talked about starting construction on the Pennington home, and it's one thing to get funding to build something.
Right.
And put someone's name on there. It's another thing altogether to sustain the operations of that home, and to feed and clothe the children and care for the children. We have a wonderful staff, a lot of volunteers, which really makes it work, but I still have to have the sustaining funds to keep us going, to pay the bills. We have to pay electricity bill too, unfortunately. We have to pay cable bill. So one of the things we have coming up is David Searing is a wonderful supporter of Children in Crisis, and he has put on, this will be his 4th concert that he's going to do for Children in Crisis, and this year it's going to be February 22nd at Village Baptist Church in Destin. So you'll see some more things about that. And then right after that, we have our CIC 10th annual golf tournament. Classic, charity classic, and it's going to be over at Fort Walton Beach course, and it's going to be on March the 18th, and a shotgun start of noon, and we'll serve breakfast, it's not breakfast, but lunch, and then it'll just be a great tournament. Have a little awards thing afterwards with hors d'oeuvres. And then I have to mention the Destin Cherry Wine Auction Foundation again, because they support 14 charities, and of course Children in Crisis was welcomed in 2005 as one of the charities, and we've been with them ever since. And they've actually raised $1.5 million for Children in Crisis, and helped us build 4 different homes. So they are going to have their big event at the last Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of March, not March, April. And we're all excited about that. Even Nellie, you feel that you'll be ready to go.
Yeah, we're very excited, and I love hearing how Destin Charity does so much for the community, but how you're saying like all these people need to help these kids, and it's like the saying goes, like it takes a village to raise a child. It really does. All these aspects you need, like volunteering, and then of course, yes, you need the sustainment and money, but you need people in there also too to help.
Absolutely.
So if anybody's watching this, because actually it's time for us to go. I know. So you have contact information for them if they're interested in donating or to volunteer?
Please give us a call, 864-4242. Anytime. We have our website, childrenincrisisfl.org. But please give us a call or stop by to see us. We're located on Herbert Field Road, and we'd love to have their support.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much, Ken, for being on the show. And thank you.
Thank
Kenny,
you so very much.
If no one on the viewers come and visit, I'll go visit you. Yeah. I'm sure they will, though. I know I was touched by listening to you guys, and I'm sure the viewers at home were touched listening to you guys' story. And I appreciate you guys being here on Insight. So remember, you can go ahead and contact Children in Crisis and go on their website. If you're interested in volunteering or helping them with sustainment or any other way, even just being there. That's all I think really the kids need, is just someone to be there for them. So thank you guys for watching us here on Insight.